Hello, very warm welcome to all of my friends and colleagues and employees. This is KR Tech, and today we will discuss .NET. This is a .NET Zero to Web Zero to Hero series, and we covered day one basics of .NET framework and .NET Core, difference between .NET framework and .NET Core, and how we build a simple console application with the using of .NET Core, and what are the difference between .NET 6 and .NET 7, and the evaluation of .NET Core. And we discussed some key concepts basic concepts in the C sharp, what are the abstraction and what is a class, and oops concept. We discussed how the we discussed assemblies, exes and metadata manifest, and garbage collector and global assembly cache. And we discussed how we'll publish and hosting, and .NET CLI, and we discussed about CLR also, and we discussed advanced topics, hoops and async programs, and link queries, deferred execution, and we discussed delegates and action and function and predate, and we discussed reflection and dynamic group programming also. And yesterday we missed day two topics of these two important topics in the day two series. Today we'll continue with this along with the day three. And first we will discuss uh, the new features of C Sharp 9. These are the C Sharp 9 new features like records and pattern matching and top level statements. uh, Top level statements, first we will discuss about records. Like records are nothing but, like, see here I created a one sample console application like yesterday I created, right? This is nothing but the records. We'll go by the um, definition first, and then records. It introduced like in C sharp 9. Records are the reference type focused on immutability and value based equality. They make easy to create objects. like uh, it is introduced in the C sharp 9, and the new reference type. Records are the new reference type focused on immutability and value based equality. This is called this make easy to create a data objects. It means like here immutable means strings are immutable, right? All of you guys, strings are immutable. like uh, I think we missed the topics of mutable and immutable, but hope I think in interview questions perspective we'll cover those two topics also. But immutable is nothing but strings are immutable, and mutable means like objects are mutable. That is the main difference between immutable. We cannot modify once created. Mutable means we can modify with the using. We can modify once we created. That is the main difference. See here I created a one record, public record, as a person as a class, and here I am passing as a parameter string first name and string last name. In downside here I declared where person1 equal to new person John and Doy. John Doy is name, and his first name is John and his last name is Doy. And here second parameter I declared as a person to new person John and John Doy. Here I am printing person1 equal to person1. This condition will satisfy and it's written as a true value. This is called as like here entire here he has taken as a immutable variables like string variables. So that is called as a records. We can take as a immutable parameters and we will create like without using of static and main method of, sorry, we need to use static and main methods with the using of records, but this is called as a records. And pattern matching is nothing but like it is also introduced in C sharp 9. Here I am creating as a simple one object. Here I need to check the conditions. Here object is string message, message length is greater than or equal to 0, then only I will print hello. Like this is an best example of um, see here the output is printed as hello. Pattern matching is enhanced new version. It allowing more expensive readability code, condition and types checks. It allows to condition and type checks and readable code. So that is called as a I think you both are you all are guys understand this difference between records and pattern matching. Records is immutable and pattern matching is mutable. In this pattern match we will check condition statements like we'll declare an object and we will check the condition. If condition is satisfied, then we will print the value. Otherwise, we can ignore the printing value. So that is called as a pattern matching. And top level statement is there is no need to declare the static sorry main method or a static void method. Directly we will with the using of console.writeLine we will print as a hello world. This is called as a pattern matching. As an example, we can show like we can declare like in pattern matching as a new enhanced allowing expensive and readable code condition for condition and type checks. And C sharp console application will be eliminating the plate code like main method and declaration. This is called as top level statements. These three topics we missed yesterday, and one more topic we missed like practice of link based query processing tool with async API fetching. We'll see that example also once with this done. See here, hello world as printed. This is an pattern matching and this is pattern matching and records and top level matching. Top level matching is there is no need to declare like a static and void main methods, and we will remove all the boilerplate code and the code is cleaner and pattern matching is like in this pattern matching we will declare like all the patterns whether the patterns whether the value lengths and types are matching or not. If matching, then we will print, otherwise we will ignore that statement. And records it is an immutable, and we will create that variable and we will print whether the immutable strings are okay or not. That is the main difference between records and top level statements and pattern matching. And next topic is Practice of link queue based query processing tool with async API fetching. Like, see, this is an best example of link queue based query processing tool with async API fetching. Means like we will create an a link queue queries with the using of one second, just hold on. Async program yesterday we discussed like with the using of API calls we will get that async with the using of async statements we will get the triggers that is with the using of link queries link queries processing tool with async API fetching. This example we will covered in the next like uh, custom middlewares in the next day 3 series. In that we will show like for just example here I wrote one async task async and here I am printing as a path and a method and a status code with the using of async and await. Here also this is my one of my link statement first or default. Here if it is okay then I am removing and this is also one link statement star default. Here I am declaring as an enumerable and the task items and this is also one of link methods. Then next we'll go to the day 3 ASP.NET Core and Web API. ASP.NET Core with Web API. Because if you are developing any application with the using of front end and back end, we need to we need one communicator between uh, front end and back end. It means like client and server, the mediator between between connector like front end and back end. So with that uh, so that we are using a API as a middle layer to connect like a client and server. So that's the reason like in client we will declare the routes and routes and according to the we will use as a API with the using of get and post and put and delete patch HTTP methods. We will connect with that HTTP methods to in our .NET Core project with the building of controls and controls. We will specify that specific route names according with this controller and we will fetch that data and we will move to the our client. This is main use of web API. So the overview of building a scalable API in .NET Core. Like building scalable, like see here, building a scalable API using with this .NET Core. It means like we will create a one web API ASP.NET Core .NET project with the using of like a one card operation. So I here example is available already web API 0 to hero series. Like in I explained in web API 0 to hero series, with all of get and post and put and patch, sorry, and delete methods, HTTP methods. And if anyone missed that web API 0 to hero series, please go through that web API 0 to hero series. And I will show the example in this video also. And just I am opening my previous project web API 0 to hero series. See here, this is my program.cs. Here I created as a in my program.cs I added as a and this is my by default code. Here I created as a here by default weather forecast controller is game, and he in this weather forecaster like a weather report, those details will come based on this is a by default controller. And here I created as a one test controller, and here I created HTTP get and HTTP get, HTTP post, HTTP put, HTTP delete, HTTP methods, and I created as a simple class. Here I statically I created as a one task like learn web API 0 to hero series. Learn and see. Here I'm keeping as a sorry. Here I'm keeping as a breakpoint. These are my basic code operations with the using of .NET Code Web API. Let's see here I am now keeping as here breakpoint. I will explain in the next session. This is my get call in the server. I declared as a two parameters. So this I will explain in the next series. In one learn web API 0 to hero series, learn and build a .NET Core 0 to hero series. And this two are false because I think just I created a one bool, so here I created as a false. And if I am trying to editing this post API task, see here I am adding one more variable, one more thing. As 0 to see here I am expecting 201 successfully created in the server. Now I am again hitting get API call. Now I can find out three series. So this is my sample how I can build a web API project with the using of .NET. I hope everyone knows like what is the basic structure, like create an app, new project. Like if you are going to the Visual Studio, here in the file I have a new and a project. In this I will select as a ASP.NET Core Web API. This will support C Sharp, Linux, Mac OS, Windows API, Cloud Service, Web API, and Web. We'll select this and we'll create a controller with this using of. This is on a console application, so that's the reason controllers and properties those are not kept. But this is my Web API project. Here, properties and controllers are came. If we want to add any new controller, we will go to the add button and we will add a controller in this controller folder only. So this is a basic structure of building a scalable API with the using of .NET Core. And next is middleware. Middleware we discussed in Web API 0 to Hero series, and once again we will discuss in this uh, .NET Core series, like middleware. In .NET Core, middleware is a software process. It handles request and response between the web server and application. It is a key part of web development that allows the developer add functionality to their application without modifying the core code. It means like it is middleware is a software process. It allows the request and it allows the request and response between the application and server, web server and application. It is a key part of development that allows to developer add a functionality without modifying source code. That is called as a middleware. Like suppose I have a one request from client to server, but in middle I want to check what are the status code is coming, what are the errors logging and those functionality I wanted to see. So at the time I will create a separate middleware. In that middleware I will create my logic, and I can print in that log files or anywhere. So that is called as a middleware. So pre-processing methods we can write as a pre-processing methods between client and server communication. So that is also one of a definition of middleware. And next topic is DI. DI is nothing but dependency injection. Dependency injection is uh, one more important topic in C. Here the best example here I am given with the diagram. HTTP request. It comes middleware 1, component 1. The request goes into middleware 2, and again the request goes into the middleware 3, and the response came middleware 3 into middleware 2 and middleware 2 into middleware 1, and the responses came to the client. This is my server and this is my client. DI. Next, DI is a dependency injection. In this context, DI is a software design pattern that promote to loosely coupling by providing the component with the dependencies rather than creating itself, making a code more modular and testable and maintainable. It providing the component with the dependency rather than having it create itself, making code more modular. It means rather than create itself, we will inject uh, sorry sorry one second. Rather than it means like rather than create uh, rather than create them itself, making a code more modular and testable and maintainability. Like it is in a software design pattern with the using of design dependency injection. The application will provide loosely coupled solution. Like each and every time, if we are creating an object in every class, um, like rather than we are creating, automatically we will inject in that project with the using of dependency injection. That is called as a dependency injection in the .NET code. Like see, what is the use of dependency injection? Dependency injection, it supports the dependency inversion principle by injecting dependencies into the class definition and instead of hard coding them. Uh, Yesterday we discussed dependency inversion principle. Like high level modules won't be depend on low level modules. Is the use of dependency injection with the using of dependency injection with the using of inversion of control inversion of principle rule. And the next topic into our .NET Zero to Hero series day 3. Custom middleware. Custom middleware means like just now we discussed like my request HTTP request came into middleware 1, and after that it goes to middleware 2. In this middleware 1 to middleware 2, I wanted to implement one logic, my own logic. So at that time, I will use as a custom middlewares. I will create my custom middleware with that according to my usage, and I will execute that. After that, I will goes to the middleware 2, and I will execute my remaining logic in that code itself. So that is called as a custom middleware. Like best example of custom middleware is uh, we need to implement our own middleware logic like logging. Example available in web API 0 to 0 here is like if you want to implement logging functionality in our web application. So that is custom one of the custom middleware. So I implemented this custom middleware in my Web API Zero to Hero series. I think already I showed in that session also, but once again, the concept is came in this particular .NET series, right? So we'll discuss more deeply into that. So custom middleware, if you wanted to create a custom middleware, first we need to create one class. So I created a one class logging middleware.cs. Here I am giving as a name like private read only request to delegate next, and the public logging here I created as a uh, constructor, and here I wrote as a one async method, async task, invoke async. Here I created as HTTP context console write line request method and response. This is my custom logic. Here I am building like what is the method going, and what is the path, and what is the status code. This is my simple logic of logging logic. And here in program.cs I am injecting this middleware. See, app.use middleware logging middleware. Here I injected according with this, and here app.use console.request method and console.path. We can implement like call next middleware. You await dot next, and call next middleware. This is this I created, and here there is no need to declare anything because once the request came here, it goes automatically into my custom middleware, and the logs will print. After that, it will execute remaining logic. See example, already my code has, see, automatically it comes into the invoke action where it is came like debug, sorry, not quick watch. See here my API path and method is came, and here I am printing as a my console. See here, request URL is API, and response code is 200. This has printed in my console, in my logs. So this is implementation of. Um, See, I didn't kept any break pointer here. See, I am removing this, and I am again rebuilding. If you are confusing, like I am not forcing to like call that exact method, because directly I injected here, so and don't need to force anywhere. See, automatically comes. But if I comment here, if I comment here, it won't call that particular. It won't goes into the um, into that my logging class. See, uh, see, it directly prints what are the things are available in my server. So that is the main difference. We need to inject in our program.cs, that in program.cs of custom middleware. Otherwise, it won't affect anywhere. So that is a custom middleware. And next, service lifetime means dependency injection. Have we have a some services lifetime is there, like in dependency injection we can inject with the in with that using of uh, three, like three lifetime spans, like one is app dot add scoped, and see our transient scoped singleton. transient. First we will goes to the singleton. Singleton have only single instance created once shared across the entire application, across like it will create only one instance, and it will share across the application. That is called as a singleton. And scoped means like instance created and shared within that same request. Like suppose if I have, see, in my this case, like I have total five API HTTP methods. If I am using add singleton for this all this, so once first if I executed any method, the one instance will be created, and it across the entire application it will share with that one instance. But if I am using an add scoped for this request, it will share across the application, but this is a new request. It won't share the of new web request. The post API will create as a new instance, and it will share it across the entire application. So that is the main difference between add singleton and add scope. Singleton is shared across the application with all HTTP methods, but HTTP request. But a scoped is for each HTTP request, it will create as a new instance, and it will share it across the application. Transient mean like each and every time, like when I am sending an any request for this, it will create as a separate instance. For this, it will create as a separate instance. For this, it will create as a separate instance. For this, it will create as separate instance, and for this it will create as a separate instance. And this is a new instance for every service request. And once if I am requesting, and after that, if I am clicking on this, one more new instance will create. That is the main difference between singleton and transient and scoped. These are the lifetime spans in dependency injection. Um, that's all. Like next to routing. Routing. What is the routing in ASP.NET? Routing is nothing but when we are sending any request from page 1 to page 2, page 1 to page 2, like if you are navigating one page to another page, so that is called as a routing. Like if you are sending any request from one controller and it goes to the another page, so it will happen with the using of routing. So that is called as a routing. We are sending a request to routing, and it goes to the controller, and the controller execute the logic, and it will return to the routing, and the response will came into our application. That is called as a routing. It is a mechanism of matches incoming HTTP URLs, specific actions within your web application controller or endpoints. With the using of endpoints, it will goes to the controller, and it will fetch the record. It will fetch the response, and it will shows the end user. So that is called as a routing. And attribute routing is nothing but controller is used to define a group of set of actions. Like an action method is a controller which can handle request, and controller is logical. Similarly, action methods controller means like it will a group of similar actions. So that is called as a controller. Attribute routing is nothing but like we will declare the as a attribute in our program.cs or in our controller. So that is called as a attribute routing. See here the name of implicity and attribute a web API we will declare in everything in pattern. In see here map controller base name default pattern controller home action index by id. Here I am declaring entire my controller name and my action name and my query string. This is called as a pattern matching. See in my project also. See, this is my attribute, but I commented because due to I am creating as another another segment, so that's the reason it came as a error. But here I am giving as a attribute name like products controller product id product. See here I am map.get products int id int var first or default to product id. This is called as a attribute writing. We will declare it as a route name, and we can manage attribute writing in our code also. See here, this is my HTTP methods, but this is also called as a route attribute routing. See, I'm building my solution. So here it is came and returning the value. So this is also called as a attribute routing. We will declare the attribute name in our routing. This is a best practice, and the versioning also will maintaining like this. I hope the next topic is versioning only in this versioning. So I will cover in this video only, like in this part only, like versioning. We will create as a versioning. This is my API versioning. Here I am declaring, first time I am declaring as a 1.0 version. And here first time I have only two records, but one new developer has came and he added one more like value in that. He changed some logic in code, so you need to mandatory change version also because this is a get call. You need to maintain. He changed some values in the list due to client requirement. So he can like even old developer and new developer and another developer also can easily identify with this maintaining of route versioning, API versioning. So that is an best example of like API versioning. We will maintain API versioning in our .NET or any technologies of any technology. So it is best practice of using um, we can easily track with the using of, see here I wrote already, introduce changes, new features without breaking existing client, exposing different versions of API enabling. This is called as a API versioning. And next we will discuss about attribute routing is completed and minimal API. Minimal API. We have a pending with minimal API and routing, sorry, security part and error handling. Yeah. This is minimal API. Minimal API is a simplified approach and building an HTTP API with ASP.NET code. You can build a fully functionality REST endpoints with minimal code and configuration. Skip the traditional scaffolding and avoid the unnecessary controller by fluency declaring API routes and actions. Like minimal API is simplified approach of building in a fast HTTP APIs. We can use of this run map, use map get map post build. With this we can implement minimal API. Already here I created as a sample minimal APIs. See, these are my minimal APIs: map get product ID int. Here I will get an errors because I don't have products. So that's the reason this error has came. But don't worry. See, these are the minimal API map get product. So I can return as a results of here I am not writing any big code like how I am getting. So this is called as a minimal API. We are simplifying the REST APIs. Uh, Here I am finding definition also same. We are simplifying the simplified approach in building HTTP APIs with ASP.NET. You can build a functionality REST endpoint with minimal code and configuration. Skip the traditional scaffolding and avoiding unnecessary controllers by fluency declaring up API routes and actions. So this is called as a minimal API. In minimal API, we have a run, map, use, map, get, map, post, build. These are the main methods with the using with the building of minimal API. The run method is used to terminate the middleware, meaning it is a last middleware pipeline. Generate the response. Run is terminate the middlewares, and we can use as a run as a last, that is a run. Map is allows to match the request based on the URL path and route them in specific middleware delegate set of middleware. Use middleware says add the middleware to the pipeline, which means middleware will execute for every incoming request. For every incoming request, it will execute. That means that is called as a use. Map is allowing to match request based on the URL path and route them a specific middleware. It will route the specific middleware is called as a map. Run will terminates, map will it will specific middleware URL path with a specific middleware. Use it adds middleware pipeline execute for every incoming request. Match post, map get and map post is a particular type of get and post. Build, it is created to web application instant of pre-configured defaults. JWT. Next part is JW security. JWT and JWT authentication. For security in ASP.NET Core, we are using JWT authentication, JSON Web Token authentication. And we discussed in our last session uh, how to implement JWT authentication in online food order. This application I implemented as a JWT authentication by step, and I will showcase one more time. See here. I I installed the package of Microsoft ASP.NET Core Authentication ASP JWT barrier. Sorry, my battery is very low. Uh, I'm really sorry. Here I installed this ASP.NET Authentication JW barrier token, the version of 8.0, and in program.cs I declared as a builder.service add authentication JWT barrier defaults authentication schema, and this thing. Here I added a use cross allow host, and in app setting.json, here I created as my JWT key and his user ID. And in authentication control, in login, I created as a authentication user. In this authentication user, I'm verifying whether user is available or not in my database. And here if user is available, I'm creating as a one token with that specific user with the using of this schema credential and schema security key. With this I am creating. So if I'm executing this, because both are running in same, sorry, not this one, both are running in same endpoints. So that's the reason that Here some problem is there with my code, so I'll verify this thing. And startup.configured as some error is there with my code, and I will verify and I will show this example in next session. And next class also will discuss the security part in the next session. Error handling and logging on middleware with the using of Serilag. Serilag is an third-party logging package. We can use of Serilag. We can maintain the logs with the using of Serilag package. So that is a very advanced topic. With this one also, I will explain in detail in the next session. These two concepts. Next API versioning. Just now we discussed API versioning, so I'm marking this two as a red mark, and I'm removing this two as this two as a blue color because we discussed these topics. So practice of RESTful JWT authentication. This will also I will show in uh, next session. Thank you for all. I think almost 1 hour is completed for day two pending topics and day three topics. Um, Please subscribe this channel and please like this. If you have any doubts and any clarification, feel free to reach me out anytime. I will respond within 1 hour. And thank you all. Have a good day. Bye bye. Once again, bye bye.